We, of course, hang out online at BigDumbFunShow.com. Friend, fan, follow us on the Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, Eventful, Reverb Nation, Tumblr, Google+, and
Instagram.
The Instagram.
Please welcome to the Big Dumb Fun Show, Scott and Mike from 902 Sound and Film Studios, joining us on the Big Dumb Fun Show. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Very much a pleasure to have you on. Let's talk about how we came to be here. You saw host Aaron Gnirk at Summerland last night,
right,
and introduced yourselves, of which Gnirk is completely ecstatic that somebody recognized him at the concert. And it happens ever so often, even with a small independent show. But you noticed the logo because you'd seen other bands come by, mutual friends of ours, and you'd seen the show via way of that.
Yes.
And you said, you introduced yourselves, and bing, bang, boom. Now you're on the show.
Here we are.
Absolutely. So now, and you might have to speak up into that one.
Yeah, they didn't realize it was just that easy.
It's just that easy to. For those of you wondering how to get on the show.
Yeah, just compliment me if I happen to be wearing a Big Dumb Fun Show T-shirt, or of course I had to come to the studio before the show.
Do you have to be wearing the shirt? Can you just say, "Hey, that's a nice mustache"?
Rarely does anybody ever recognize me out of uniform.
Not that anyone who's seen the latest sex offender registry.
Yeah. Superman doesn't go anywhere without his uniform, so that's why it's got the shield there. Everybody just kind of overlooks him.
But that was great. I mean, we just came into a row. It just happened to be sitting almost like a row right in front of you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, that's that guy from the Big Dumb Fun Show."
Wait a damn minute. So tell us what your latest project is going to be the Red Velvet Crush project.
Right.
Yes.
And
you were the guys actually doing the music video for Red Velvet Crush that they've been talking about.
Yeah, they announced that on our show a few weeks ago that their new music video, their first music video, is going to be Monster, and they did an acoustic of that was absolutely phenomenal in studio. But your guys are going to take that and you're going to make it into a music video.
Yes.
Production.
You guys looking forward to this as well?
Absolutely.
Oh, we're completely psyched for this. We did. A couple months ago, you guys had, like we said, you had another band, Odd-O-Matic, in here. We did a music video for them for a song called Under the Knife. They wanted a little more of an unpolished look. We're really looking forward to getting into this one and really, really doing justice to this song because, I mean, like you said, it's a phenomenal song.
Yeah. And my next question would be, who the hell are you guys? Like, why did you come up with this? What's your background when it comes to sound and video production?
Well, Mike and I met a couple years ago. I had just quit a local band for a few years ago called Soul Fuel, and he was in a band called Icy Red. And we started out working together and at a restaurant up in Leavenworth, and we just talking and everything. We both found out we both had the same
very musical,
very
interest. Similar backgrounds in music and the same interests, and from that one idea led to another. We went from we were like, okay, he asked me, he's like, well, can you come down, we're working on a record down in Olathe, and he's like, can you come lend me your ear?
What, for another band? You were working on a record for your band at the time. Okay.
Yeah, for his band at the time. And so I went down there, we worked for a while, and then it was just kind of like, man, we've been doing this for so many years on our own, because we were going down to the studio, we were basically renting the studio, doing all of our own production and editing and everything.
Yeah.
And we figured instead of funneling the money into somebody else's pocket, we would go ahead and we would just
let's do it ourselves.
It's become so easy to do that nowadays as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we decided, while we're at it, instead of just recording our stuff, there's a lot of artists around. I know when I tried to get started with Soul Fuel, and when he was working with the various bands that he's been in over the last few years, it's so expensive. It's just ridiculous. Everybody's in it for the money, and they're not in there for the artist or in there for the love of the product, the music.
Yeah.
And we were like, screw that. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to jump in this with both feet. We know what we're doing.
Right.
We've
and
got
when you've
the
got
gear.
the ear and the eye for what you want to do, it's much more satisfying at the end of the day to be able to have the final word in what you're doing instead of relying on somebody else. You can actually take charge. So we thought, let's go ahead and just jump in this and do it ourselves. And
now, are you then going in and providing a more affordable solution to these bands to make a video? Or
a lot of these bands, they're independent bands. They're not signed. There's no label paying them to make that video. They're just this is out of their own pockets.
Exactly, and that's exactly where we were at. I mean, we were paying when we were going down to any of the other studios. We were having to pay. And it was just like
ridiculous amounts of money at times.
You're like, save your money, save your money, save your money. Okay, now we're going to go and we're going to do this, and
we're just going to blow that money in a chunk of time. And if you run out of time, then you just have all this raw stuff, I guess, right?
Right, exactly.
So what was your first music video? Was it?
It was Under the Knife with Odd-O-Matic.
Odd-O-Matic was your first
music video, right?
And then have you started filming Red Velvet Crush yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're on the verge of that right now.
I understand the release
date's
like October.
You're doing pre-production work, and now I thought they were shooting to try to actually do the production in October.
Yeah, that's correct.
Like I had asked
September,
you,
October.
having talked with Jillian, that they were looking for a kind of I don't say Art Deco, but like an old style Victorian house, kind of scary.
Right.
Yeah,
and she said we're looking for one, and I suggested like she go to the Independent Filmmakers Coalition on a Wednesday and just go, hey, here's who I am, here's what we're doing, and you guys might, that kind of networking element.
Right.
Find.
How did you guys
that
hook
can
up
help
with them, by the way?
Ironically, go ahead.
Yeah, I know Jillian's dad. I met him at my day job, as a matter of fact. And, talking to him, he, told me about his daughters in a group, and I met her that way. And then had a meeting with them twice. And then from there, we went on to form a friendship, and they found out what we were doing, and we liked what they were doing, and then kind of just spawned this whole thing. They saw the video that we had done initially, and we just, we just went from there.
How does that work in terms of, like, when you're making a video for your own music?
Right.
And you have that complete control, whereas now you're making a video for, much like Odd-O-Matic or Red Velvet Crush, they're going to want to have some input into their own product.
For that, I say screw them. You do what you're going to do.
It's all about what you want to do.
It's all about what your vision is for these bands.
For their music.
Right. Yeah, I think the important thing is just to get their vision down, first of all, know exactly where they want to go with it, then put your input in. And then, normally the way we do it is we just go ahead and we run with it, and then we show them during the process, this is what we're doing, what do you think of this and that so far. But it's important to stay on the same page as them, to know that we all have the same
working
vision.
to the same goal.
Right,
and they like what they see. And
at the end of the day, they're your clients,
and
you're
proud of what you're working on.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like when we worked with Odd-O-Matic. Basically, we sat down with them, and they, initially we started off just recording their album, and then they were like, "Well, we want to do a music video," and we're like, "Oh, okay." We had the equipment to do it. We weren't quite ready at the time to go ahead and start with that, but then they were like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and do this." So they gave us a concept, and we just, we ran with it and expounded on their concept.
When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about what goes into making a music video. You can enlighten us a little bit about that. Maybe some other projects you have coming up, and how you made the foray into the film production from just being a sound studio. We're in studio with Scott and Mike from 902 Sound and Film Studios, and we will be right back after this.